Since 1990, the world has halved child mortality rates. HIV is no longer a certain death sentence. Many of the so-called neglected diseases that affect 1 billion people every year are no longer neglected. I talk about what we have accomplished in the past because it makes me optimistic about what we can achieve in the future. However, there is still a lot of room for improvement. This year, 5 million children under the age of 5 will die, mostly in poor countries. And hundreds of millions more will suffer from diseases and malnutrition that deprive them and their countries of their strength and potential. Some of these issues can be addressed by doing a better job of delivering life-saving drugs and vaccines to the people who need them. But there is still a significant gap between the tools we have and the tools we need to eliminate the most persistent diseases of poverty. The way to fill this gap is through innovation, and that's why I am excited to be here today. Because the tools and discoveries your companies are working on can also lead to groundbreaking solutions that save millions of lives in the world's poorest countries. It's true that government-funded basic science research has illuminated promising paths for advancements in health. Philanthropy can help nurture the best ideas through discovery and development and can balance the risk-reward equation for private sector partners. But the industry has the skill, experience, and capacity to turn discoveries into commercially viable products. The fact is, global health needs the private sector. And frankly, the private sector has a lot to gain from pursuing breakthroughs in global health. In the coming decades, developing economies will continue to expand. By 2050, Africa's population will more than double to nearly 2.5 billion people. That's more than twice the combined estimated population of the US and Europe. But we don't have to wait 20 or 30 years. Even in the shorter term, impact and profits are not mutually exclusive for the private sector. To date, projects and investments by the private sector and philanthropists have led to the development of new drugs and vector control tools against malaria, accelerated the deployment of new vaccines in poor countries, and enabled millions of people in developing countries to access long-term birth control methods and the best antiretroviral treatments for HIV. The questions driving your research agendas in biotechnology and pharmaceuticals are beginning to converge with the problems we are trying to solve in global health in exciting ways. Many of the solutions we are working on, tackling cancer by leveraging the immune system, solving the mysteries of the brain to treat Alzheimer's, and learning how the body metabolizes nutrients to address the obesity epidemic and other diseases, have clear applications in global health as well. The global health community may not think much about cancer treatments, but we need to understand the immune system to fight deadly diseases like HIV, malaria, and tuberculosis. We are not focusing on neurodegenerative diseases that come with aging. However, we are concerned with the cognitive development of hundreds of millions of young children in poor countries. We are not facing an obesity crisis in Africa and South Asia, but we are trying to tackle the opposite crisis of stunting, wasting, and malnutrition. Developing products for wealthy world markets may be of interest to you, but the groundbreaking discoveries happening in your labs can also save millions of lives in the world's poorest countries. In health and medicine, we learn by analogy. We borrow insights from other fields. And when we ask a type of question about fundamental systems like the immune system, the brain, or the human microbiome, the answers can be applied to an entirely different line of inquiry. A few months ago, a headline in the Wall Street Journal caught my eye. The story highlighted many of the narratives about how the genetic mechanism of the HIV virus can be used as a tool to alter T cells to attack certain cancers. I'm sure that 10 years from now, we'll see headlines like "How Cancer Tools Are Helping HIV Treatment." Of course, it's not that simple. Immunotherapy today works only against certain types of cancer and only in certain patients. And like cancer, infectious diseases like HIV, TB, and malaria also have complex interactions with the immune systems of infected individuals. But there are promising reasons to believe that the insights gained from ongoing immunotherapy research for cancer will eventually help us control all infectious diseases. This would be a significant victory for humanity and potentially a significant market for life sciences. We all share the goal of improving the health and well-being of people globally. Imagine what could be possible if we work together. Imagine a world where the ancient scourge of malaria is finally eradicated, where hundreds of millions of people no longer suffer from tuberculosis, and where we have found a cure for HIV. In a quarter century, we have halved the child mortality rate. With the dedication, passion, expertise, and resources of committed people, we can have it again by 2030. There are many technical challenges to overcome. But when I think of the breathtaking pace of innovation over the last 10 or 20 years, I believe even more extraordinary things are possible within our lifetimes. I can't think of a nobler purpose than closing the gap between those who suffer the relentless pain of disease and poverty and those who live healthy and prosperous lives. Achieving health equity within our lifetime is not only a possibility, it is a necessity because everyone, no matter where they live, deserves a chance to lead a healthy and productive life.